Hi and welcome along to AFTV. The Europa League draw has been made, and it throws up some. Well, you know, let me read out the teams that Arsenal have drawn. Sporting Lisbon of Portugal. Arsenal have drawn against them. Of course, Sporting Lisbon, a very, very famous team, very, very good team from out of Portugal. They've lost a lot of their big names though that got them to this, got them to be able to be in this competition. Guys like William Carvalho have moved on. Lots of their stars, and we all heard about last year. I was talking about it a lot in Transfer Daily about how some of their players got attacked by some of their fans on the training ground, and a lot of them wanted to move on after that attack. So Sporting Lisbon a bit depleted, but they will be a strong team to face. Still have Nani. Remember Nani? He used to play for Manchester United, play for Portugal. He's back at Sporting Lisbon, so he'll be up against Arsenal. But you would have thought that's, nothing to fear really there for Arsenal. The other teams that Arsenal have drawn. FC Qarabag of, or have I said it right? Qarabag or Qarabag. I think it's Qarabag. I said Qarabag. You know what? That's going to be the joke. That's what everyone's going to be saying. But it's Qarabag of Azerbaijan. Long trip for Arsenal. I've already been speaking to the travel guys, and they're like, wow, that's, we're not even sure if we're going to put a trip onto there. It's so far. Azerbaijan, by the way, when I was in Russia for the World Cup, a lot of people telling me Azerbaijan's a really beautiful country, but it is very, very far away. And Unai Emery's not going to be thrilled to be travelling to Azerbaijan on a Thursday night and then having to, say, play, one of the top teams, or even any team really in the Premier League on the Sunday. It's just not the sort of trip and journey that you want. Team-wise, Qarabag, they've been... I said it again. I did it again. Qarabag. They've been in the Europa League before. They've been in the Champions League several times, not been successful. I remember when they came up against Chelsea. They're not the greatest of teams. Obviously, they are one of the minnows of the competitions. But that would be, a good game. But you would expect Arsenal to overcome Qarabag pretty easily. And then the last team that we've been drawn against in the competition, and I've never heard of this team. I'm going to be honest with you. Before the draw, I had never, ever heard of this team before. And I'm going to look down here on my computer. It's FC Vorskla Poltava. FC Vorskla Poltava of the Ukraine. So we seem to be travelling out to the east a lot in this group. And that is the other team we've drawn. And as I said, I don't know nothing about them. I know that they finished third in their league last year. They must be half decent because they've made it into the Europa League through the qualifying stages. But I've never heard of them. And it's the Ukraine. And again, another journey that the manager would not really have been looking forward to make. You look on it and you say to yourself, boy, again, doing that on a Thursday, game on a Sunday, not ideal. However, you look at those teams there and you say to yourself, at home, Sporting Lisbon, you fancy Arsenal to win that. Qarabag, definitely. This other team here, FC Vorskla, definitely you'd expect us to win those 3 games at home. And basically, in the Europa League, if you win your 3 home games, you're going through. And you'd expect to beat those 2 minnows away from home as well. Maybe Sporting Lisbon might be the one that will give us problems and then progress through to the next round. So, on the face of it, a very easy draw for Arsenal. You've got to say, it's a very, very easy draw for Arsenal. But then having said that, as I said, Unai Emery won't be thrilled at the distances he's going to have to travel to face some of these teams, as I said. Ukraine and also travelling to Azerbaijan. And those are some really, really long trips. I want to know what you guys think about this. What do you think about the teams we've drawn? Are you thrilled that we've got such an easy group? For anybody who's looking to go to these games, how are you going to get there? Are you thinking about how you're going to get to some of these places? Because those 2 ones over in the east are not going to be easy to negotiate. As I was said already, Azerbaijan very far, and the Ukraine, not only is it far, but remember it's a war-torn country, still a war-torn country right now. There's teams in the Ukraine like Shakhtar they're not even able to play their games at home because of the war. So not going to be easy destinations to get to, but you would expect that Arsenal should get through this group. And of course, it's the Europa League. We came so close last year. We got to the semi-finals and then we came up against Atletico Madrid and got knocked out. But we did have a very good run in the competition last year. And with Unai Emery in charge and his pedigree and his competition, we'll be expecting, to really go as far as we possibly can in this one. Remember, if you win the Europa League, it's a place in the Champions League. And there's a lot of people suggesting that might be our best way of getting into the Champions League this year is to win the Europa League. I don't always go by that because it's this ridiculous competition, as we saw last year, where a team of the pedigree of Atletico Madrid can drop out of the Champions League, drop into the Europa League, and then go on to win it. The teams that Arsenal faced in the Europa League of the same standard, that finished in the similar sort of positions of them in their leagues, Arsenal dispatched off. We beat Milan, we beat all these teams, right? But the minute we came up against, Atletico Madrid, who were a seasoned Champions League team with guys like Diego Godin, Diego Costa, Antoine Griezmann, these are Champions League teams. And I think this is the most ridiculous thing about this competition. Is why I dislike the Europa League, not because of the distances you've got to travel to go and play some of these obscure teams, not because I disrespect the competition as a whole with the teams in it, but I just hate this rule that cheapens the competition, that you can have a team that drops out of the Champions League and then drops into the Europa League. And it's ridiculous for me. And we saw it last year with Atletico winning it. And you know what? I was looking at it this year and I was looking at some of the potential teams that could drop out of the Champions League because there's a lot of very tough groups in the Champions League. If you look at some of those Champions League groups, you can't pick the two teams that are going to go through. If you even look at Tottenham's group, where they, they've got a very difficult group. A big team will be dropping out of that group and potentially into the Champions League. So to say that it's the best route to win, you can't, because it's a lottery at the moment, It's a lottery. PSG could drop into the Europa League, And then what? Because we saw it last year with Atletico Madrid. So not the easiest competition to win when it gets to the latter stages. Easy at this stage, but later on when it goes to the knockout stages and then you start to face those Champions League teams, it can be very, very difficult to win. But the draw so far, very, very favourable to Arsenal. Let me read it out again. Sporting Lisbon of Portugal. Won't be easy, but as I said, a depleted team from the team that was so successful for them last year, with so many of their top players moving on following, that training ground bust-up. Let me try and pronounce it right. Karabakh of Azerbaijan. They are the other team. Again, decent enough team with a decent enough pedigree in recent seasons of getting into the Champions League and Europa League. However, Arsenal, you would expect us to dispatch of them. First time we're facing them. And also, a first time we'll be facing this team, FC Vorskla, Portlava of the Ukraine, a team that I have never heard of before. I don't think, obviously Arsenal are going to have to do their homework. We can't disrespect them. We can't just look on it. I can just imagine Claude now. They're a pub team. They're a pub side. But we're not going to be able to disrespect these teams. But those are the teams that we're going to face. Nothing really exciting in there as well. I bet the hierarchy at Arsenal who do the tickets and that must be thinking, oh my God, how are we going to sell tickets for Arsenal versus Vorskla at home? That's going to be a task. Listen, none of those are really exciting apart from the Sporting Lisbon one. But listen, we've got to go out there, we've got to do a job. This is a great chance to win it. Our manager has a brilliant pedigree in this competition. Remember, he won it 3 times at Sevilla. And we'll be hoping that possibly he could win it again, and this will be our route. one of them hopefully back into the Champions League. What do you guys think? Leave it in the comments below. What do you think of the group? Can we win the Europa League this year? Do you care about the Europa League? I care about it because it's the prize at the end is good. Let me know. Leave it in the comments below. But that's our Europa League draw. That's our group.